Welcome to Rooted, Salty, and Light with myself, Nadine Ness. And as I said last Friday, we're doing a regular show now again every Monday afternoon. I was hoping to have it a little bit earlier, but then I realized Monday mornings I always have to drive my kids to school. So by the time I get back and get all the chores done for the chickens and the house, I just realized I'm a little bit far. But get all the chicken feeding and the watering and all of that. I don't want to have to push that back too far in the day when it gets too hot. The chicken feed is very very heavy and not expensive. Well, then again, it is expensive, but very heavy. So I don't really want to do that when it's my plus 25 to plus 30 in the afternoon. But yeah, okay, we've got an interesting mixture today of what I'm going to cover on the show. It's going to be a bit comical at first, then it's going to get a bit gloomy, and then we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's happening all over the world, whether it's in France, in Israel, or in the US. So I'm going to cover a little bit of everything. I was searching to see what was trending the most, what people were talking about. And I don't want the show to just be politics. I want it to be about culture too, and how I as a Christian see the world and what my thoughts on certain things are. Again, some of this stuff I haven't watched the video in full. I like to do that with you guys so that you get like a honest, genuine reaction from me and my thoughts right in the moment. So some of them I haven't watched fully, some I have. I'll let you know which one it is. But hey, Heather, I have not seen you in a while. Jonathan is also on here. I actually know Heather in real life. So Heather and I used to be in a Bible study group together. Jonathan's on. Where's your wife, Jonathan? This is not Jonathan, my husband. This is Jonathan Grande. And then David. You know what's funny? I got to know David through like just he was on my show like every day. And then we had a few phone conversation and I asked him to be like a mod for the show because he was always there. So if ever we had problems, especially when shows that I have like a lot of watchers and we can get disruptions and stuff. So anyways, but David and I have had so many conversation on the phone since. So even when I wasn't doing my show, we were catching up. So we've become really good friends. I'm trying to convince him to move to Saskatchewan. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to start with one thing. I wasn't planning on covering this, but until like the end, but I just found this so fascinating. I don't have it in the description of the show, but Matt Walsh talked about this statistics or I guess questionnaire or poll that they did. So NBC News Decision Desk poll asked Gen Z adults 18 to 29 years old what they consider important to a successful life. The combination of gender politics produced two very different sets of priority. So there's two, and I'm sure some of you may have seen this especially if you're on Twitter, but these two versions are the ones that I've seen kind of thrown around, but there's an interesting one. So these are men who voted for Trump in one category. If you can't see this in your screen, it might be too small. And in the other category are women who voted for Harris. So, and it lists several things and it gives them the most important to personal definition of success. So men who voted for Trump, the number one item on their list is having children, with 34% saying that that was the most important thing. And then financial independence fell under that. Fulfilling job, career, being married was fourth. Having money to do things you want, owning a home in the category. At the bottom is having emotional stability or able to retire early is kind of at the bottom. But then when you look at women who voted for Harris, and I'm sure this would be similar to if you were to compare conservatives with liberals here in Canada, but women who voted for Harris, 51%, their number one thing was fulfilling job career. Having money to do things you want was second. Having emotional stability was third. Using talents and resource to help others, financial independence. And then having children is at the very bottom. Being married is just before the last thing. So they think being married is better than more important than having children. But it's interesting to see the exact opposite. But the other thing I'm just noticing, having emotional stability, it's funny because the conservative men, it's at the way bottom for them. While it wouldn't be a priority if it was something that they felt was super important, as in it's something that's on their minds a lot. So it's kind of interesting to see that at the bottom for men, but women, it's the third option. Liberal women, it's the third option. It makes you kind of wonder, like, and this wouldn't even be something that's on my radar as a definition of success because it's not something that I consider like a problem. But I think if it's something that people, and you hear a lot about Gen Z having a lot of anxiety, a lot of mental health issues, you're seeing like a huge increase. But women, it's the third option on there, which is kind of interesting. But then if you look at the second one, let's bring it up here, see if I can make it a bit bigger. So this is women who voted for Trump versus men who voted for Harris. So women who voted for Trump, one of the top one is financial independence, fulfilling job career, owning your own home, being grounded spiritually, having money to do things you want, having children. So having children is like middle ground, which I found shocking because I think for the most part that conservative women want to have children. It's one of the things that I would consider like the most successful. Or maybe it's not considered successful if it's something you just assume most people have and don't measure it as success. I don't know. I do. One of the things that I'm most proudest of, or that I love about my life the most, is my children and being a mom and having, I have 4 kids. So we're working on another, not yet pregnant. So and people say, "Wow, 5 kids." And that's a lot, but I tell them someone has to repopulate the world. We're about to face population collapse. So, and there's a few comments. I'll go through the comments after I've shared some of my thoughts. But it's interesting to see that kind of midway, and being married is like the fourth from the last. But like, okay, so let's look at the adverse men who voted for Harris. So their number one thing is fulfilling job career, having money to do things you want, using talents and resources to help others, financial independence, having emotional stability, making family community proud. See, having emotional stability is listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the top for liberal men. If it's something you're super concerned about and that you want, and you define that as successful, you would be putting that at the top. But if it's not something you're worried about or concerned about, it would be around the bottom. But it makes me think liberal men are super concerned about emotional stability. So making family community proud. So that's even above having children. So owning your own home, having no debt, being married is fourth from the bottom, having children is third from the bottom, able to retire early, being grounded spiritually. So the only two things that are least important to them from having children is able to retire early or being grounded spiritually. It's really interesting to seeing these numbers. I'm going to see what you guys think. I'm just going to make the screen bigger for the comments. Sean CG says, there's Gen X who will work for what they want. Then there's the new generation who wants all for working little. I have to say, I have to be careful what I say here, but and I had someone on my show, I don't know if you guys remember a while back, there was a guy, who wrote a book. I'm having a brain fart. What his name is, he's from Saskatoon there, but he wrote a book on how to help Gen X get into the workforce and as an employer, how to deal with Gen X because the generation's very different. And I didn't realize how different it was till just recently. I had hired some Gen X kids to help around the farm and stuff, trying to get everything ready for winter. But I want to say you'll have some that works really hard, and then you have some that have no idea what a hard day's work is. But and I have kids too that I'm facing the exact same thing with my kids. My daughter who's 15, I'm like, I'll pay you. Just help me move this flooring. You're doing something. And it's impossible to get them to want to do anything. David says there are some new homes being built there right now and are well priced. I could sell my second bed. Oh, he's talking about moving out here. I think you should. David says my 62-year-old liberal conservative sister brought up two daughters. Never did she ever talk to them about beauty of family and motherhood. Only how many degrees can you get? You can get. Yeah. So it's interesting though to see the vast difference. I'm actually going to bookmark that because I saw it when I kind of forgot how to do everything. It's been so long. I saw it when I was just going quickly on Facebook and it was popped out because Matt Walsh was talking about it. I'm trying to work with the lighting. I have a lot less lighting today than I usually do just because some of the videos or the training that I've been doing on filmmaking and stuff, it said to do one side like natural light, which is there's a window right there. There's one there too. But then do the other side less light. But I don't want to do none at all because then it goes like that. So we're gonna do this one. That's better. But yeah, I'm trying to work on perfecting this studio thing. Next topic. The French government is toppling down. Sort of. And I didn't understand this. I'm like, why are they calling this guy prime minister? I thought they had a president and that Macron was the one in charge. So I had to actually research a little bit so that I didn't get too confused. So I'm just trying to see what the name of the guy is here. Okay, so France has a prime minister who's in charge of running the government. So, like all the bureaucracy. It's very different than Canada. But then they have the president who's the head figure in charge of the entire government. Now, the prime minister just had a vote of no confidence. And what happens when that occurs, then President Macron has to pick another prime minister. So he's the one that picks who's going to be the prime minister. So that the prime minister got a vote of no confidence, and I hope I'm not butchering this, but this is my understanding of it. Got a vote of no confidence this week, and now Macron has to choose another one. Now, this is not the first time this has happened. This is the third prime minister that Macron has chosen and that has toppled, I guess. But there's massive amounts of protests. I'm going to see, I don't know if it's in French. If it is, I'll just bring it up here. Here. Give me a sec. I'll switch screens. See if I can play it. But it says yesterday a mass demonstration demanding Macron's resignation took place in Paris. More than 1,000 people took to the streets of the French capital with posters and national flags demanding resignation of President Emmanuel Macron and Prime Minister Francois Bayrou. Bayrou. I don't know if how you pronounce it in English or French, for that matter. But let's see. I'll put the video here. You can hear. I don't even understand what they're saying. He's saying it's finished, but okay, let's see what else. There's other videos here. I'll move this one up there too. Let's see.
Macron démission. Macron démission. Macron démission.
Looks like quite a bit of people.
Macron démission. Macron démission. Macron démission.
So they're saying Macron resign. Sorry, I'm replaying it. I'm just checking to see what is the population of France. I'm kind of curious. They have 68 million people. So they're a lot bigger than us. There was another video, though. I'll see what this one says. Oh, it's only 4 seconds. It's not really a video. It's like a live photo. I'll move this back. I'm trying to find the best way to kind of play this. My screen is doing something weird here. I'll read this out for those. Some people don't watch the show; they just listen to it. The demonstration was organized by Patriots Party, led by Florian Philippot, which called for the resignation of President Emmanuel Macron and supported an initiative to impeach him, which is scheduled to be discussed in Parliament on September 23rd. Protesters chanted anti-government slogans such as Macron Go or Macron Ursula Out and carried banners criticizing the policies of the Macron government. The main reason for the protests was reportedly Macron's statement on September 4th that the 26 countries of the so-called coalition of the willing had agreed to deploy troops in Ukraine after the end of the conflict, which Philippot described as an attempt to disrupt peace talks. This situation has caused considerable dissatisfaction among protesters who disagree with Macron's foreign policy, in particular with his position on the Ukraine conflict and support for NATO from the network. It's interesting because we're hearing similar things being mentioned here in Canada. I did have it yesterday on my screen to discuss it, but we ran out of time. It was Mark Carney had basically said that he wanted to send troops, Canadian troops, to Ukraine, but it was in one of his speech, but I'm just going to see if I can bring it up. See if Grok will help me come up with it. I'm just going to see what comes up. Grok, I found, is slower. Whoops. I got tea everywhere. It's slower than usual. It was just a recent one. Oh, it's not coming up. I'll see. Maybe I'll see if I can find it while I'm playing another video. So that's happening. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with the French government. But here is another video here. I'll see if I can play this one because this one, is it French or English? Let's see.
The right-wing Les Republicans.
Okay, they have the English translation. Let's see. See if we can play that.
French President Emmanuel Macron.
Okay, I have a question for you guys. Have you been following all the Candace Owens and the Emmanuel Macron's wife potentially not being a wife and maybe being a husband? Have you been following that whole debacle? I want to know what your thoughts are. I've said before, I think Candace Owen is kind of losing it a bit. I'm not saying she's wrong about that. I don't know. I have no proof, but she's gone insane on other things. So, like defending the Tate brothers is a perfect example of that, the whole anti-Jew direction she's going. But yeah, what do you guys think about that part? I'm curious as to what your thoughts are on it.
French President Emmanuel Macron could soon be looking for a new prime minister. And this time around, the urgency of the situation means he needs to move quickly. One option would be to turn to the Socialist Party. The left-wing group might demand a gesture to get them on board, such as a tax on the super rich. Their leader, Olivier Faure, has made it clear he's ready to step into François Bayrout's shoes.
I want a left-wing government, a cohabitation government.
The right-wing Les Republicains party has pledged not to automatically vote down a government led by the traditional left. But some believe the president will look within his own ranks to fill the role. Gérald Darmanin, Sébastien Lecornu, and Catherine Vautrin's names are all circulating as potential picks. Given France's current economic difficulties, Finance Minister Éric Lombard is seen as a choice that could reassure the markets. For the hard right, compromise isn't an option. They're calling for fresh elections.
If French people are called to vote, they will be the arbitrator and judge of peace.
The vote of confidence isn't the only challenge Emmanuel Macron is facing. On Wednesday, the Bloc Everything movement plans to disrupt the country. And on the 18th of September, French unions have agreed a widespread strike. Despite the turmoil, the Élysée has said that one option remains officially off the table, that Emmanuel Macron himself would step down.
It's going to get really interesting with all of that. I didn't know about the unions and all of that organizing something as well. It's going to get interesting to see what's going to happen. I am not a fan of Macron. I like is it Marine Le Pen? Is that her name? But we'll see what will happen. I'll be watching and probably reporting on it again in the future. I'm going to go through a few comments here. The thing that changed the dynamic is the French army. It's called the Big Quiet One. Rough translation, la grande silencieuse. For some of you who don't know, my first language is French. It has active high-ranking officers started to talk against the government. Ooh, that's interesting. News Noise Inc. says she reads a couple books, gained some knowledge, but is void of wisdom. Followed her from the start. She has lost her way. I fully agree. That's News Noise Inc. is talking. Oh, it timed out. Weird. Did I lose you for a bit? They don't want us talking about this, but I agree with you. I think she's very well spoken, very articulate, but I think she's narrow-minded in her approach to certain topics. I'm not saying she's wrong by a lot of things, but she feeds her own biases, and those biases are very much evident when you're seeing how she's responded to the Tate brothers, especially after seeing all the evidence that's out there and just their general behavior. But I think she's very much influenced by her husband, which I don't think is a positive influence on her. So that's what my husband and I have been talking about. And same thing with Tucker Carlson. Like he's like gone full blown insane. I'm really really disappointed. At first I thought okay, maybe it's just trying to get like all these different perspective, but no, he's zoning in to push a narrative instead of just general information. And I'm actually really disappointed because I really like the guy. And now I I can't watch him. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And look, I'm not saying she's wrong about Macron's wife. I don't know all of the details. There are some really weird stuff. Like my tagline is, I'm not saying Macron's wife is a man, but I have questions. That's my go-to tagline for any conspiracy that I'm still not decided on. Oh, so Joe said he followed a bit that Macron wife saga and his wife lost in court for a defamation cause about the subject. Yeah, I mean, it'd be a super easy fix, right? Show a birth certificate or show like something, but I guess there's not even pictures of his wife as a child. Speaking of pictures as a child, we were cleaning we had a shipping container on our land still with like we don't have like a big shop, so we were storing a lot of the farm stuff in there. And a lot of stuff that when we before we moved to this house, we were kind of slowly getting stuff out of the garage and moved into the shipping container until our house was finished and we moved in here. But the things never really fully made its way to the house yet. So we're going through all of that and I found pictures from when I was a kid. I'm going to bring it up and I'll show you guys the pictures. I was like laughing. Jonathan had never seen pictures of me as a kid. But I mean, who doesn't have pictures of their childhood? I don't know, especially in such a high public position. Not that she's working there, but you know what I mean? The wife of a president. You think there'd be a lot more out there. Okay, what's the next subject? Phillies Karen. Oh boy, everyone's talking about this. You know what this reminds me of? It's that every so often you have things that go viral and I'm like, what are they distracting us from? I'm still wondering right now, what are they distracting us from? But maybe it's just like human nature that there's viral phenomenon that occurs. And the latest one, the previous one was the guy cheating on his wife at the which concert was it? Was it U2? No, no, no. What's it's one of you will know the concert. Anyways, that went massively viral. Obviously, it's not someone I listen to or I would remember. But the newest one is called Phillies Karen. And I've been seeing this and I've been seeing like the back and forth, like conservatives saying, oh, the dad was a wimp. The dad has no balls. I've seen conservatives say, no, he was acting with wisdom. You can't call him crazy. I've seen all these different interpretation, but if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to share the video here. There's so many different videos. Okay, this is the most longest one here. And then we'll talk about it. Oh, you can't deal with crazy. Let's see. Dad picks up the ball, gives it. She puts her hands on him, obviously yelling at him. And she won't stop, and she's, like, getting right in his face, right in the kid's face too, so he says, "Just take it." But some people are criticizing him. Right here, we're just gonna go back. By this reaction. Like, he kinda goes shaking, almost, like, scared. I think it's just shock. I don't necessarily I don't I'm seeing some comments. I'll get to that in a second. I don't necessarily think, like, "Oh, he's a wimp, he's not protective." I think he's just shock. It's a woman, but his hands are in, like, the defense position, which if you're shot, often that happens. Do I think he responded correctly? Yeah. I I I think he realized right away. He didn't give in right away that first second. He's listening to her. He's realizing he's definitely dealing with, like, someone with mental health issues. Is likely not going to win. She won't stop. She's doing it obviously in front of his children, so she doesn't care about that. And then realizes, okay, we won't win with crazy, so let's just give her the ball. It's not worth it ruining our entire evening. But the aftermath of that, there's been other videos that I'm going to share with you guys here. The she not only did that to him, she got in the face of another guy too. I'm just trying to bring it up here. I thought it'd be faster to kind of bring it up as we're going, but I'm thinking next time I'll just have them all open and ready to go. It'll be easier. This is her getting in the face of someone else.
Yeah, you tell it! Woo!
You tell her.
Oh, shit! She took it from the little kid, bro. Oh, shit! Get it, kid! Yeah!
A ton of other people
The
are
glasses
weighing in
are
on
up.
it.
Karen is ready.
And then she's arguing with the man up top. Whoever's recording
Yeah! Wow! Yeah!
is really shaky.
Put your glasses
And
on!
then she's giving the finger to everyone. Yeah, there's another video. Here, let's see. I'm wondering. Yeah, she was getting heckled by the entire section. Oh no, it's the same thing. So basically everyone's kind of yelling at her. But from that, everyone's been on a mission to identify who she is. And there's been some names people put out there. One of them worked at a school, and oh, I have somebody here. Someone ringing the doorbell. Give me a second. I'm just going to go make sure, see who that is. It's my neighbor. Sorry guys. I never get people knocking at the door, but it was my neighbor Bjorn. So I'll give him a call back later. And someone corrected it, it's the Coldplay concert. Yeah, that's the one. Joe says the landlord wants his rent. I own this house. We own this house. Heather says, I think the dad son gained more by how they responded. You really can't get anywhere with crazy. No, exactly. And then not only that, the team then came back and gave the kid a signed bat. And then there's another I guess that there's a billionaire who gave them something else and then an RV on top of that. I'm just looking here. Yeah. So these some of these are accusations. So they're saying apparently this person works at a school, which is just absolutely insane. This person says so. There was a lady, I think her name was Nicole. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Yeah, they said that she worked at this school, and the lady made a post. I think I have it next, but the school said statement from Hamilton Public School. The woman identified on social media as Phillies Karen is not and has never been an employee of the Hamilton Public School located in Hamilton, New Jersey. Social media news reports indicating that she is are incorrect. Anyone who works for our school district, attended as a student, or lives in our community would obviously have caught the ball barehanded in the first place, avoiding this entire situation. This is kind of a funny response by the school. I like seeing like marketing done well like that. But and then and then I don't know if this is legit, but there's like this band that I've never heard of that says Karen strikes again. Outrage erupted after a woman heartlessly grabbed a home run ball from a young boy during a Philadelphia Phillies game on September 5th. What many don't know is that this isn't her first offense. A few weeks ago, the same woman attended an all-age show where our band Post Traumatic was playing. Our guitarist, Joe Prabesh, saw a young boy in a wheelchair near the front of the stage and knelt down to give him a signed set list and a guitar pick. But this Karen, wearing one of our post-traumatic shirts, snatched the item from the boy's hand while shouting obscenities. Bassist Anthony Melandro tried to calm things down, but the woman stormed off, trashed our merch table, and left the venue, causing almost $20 in damage. We made things right with the fan after the show, not thinking much of it since things can get rowdy at a post-traumatic show. But after seeing the news, we felt the need to speak up. This maniac needs to be stopped. Children deserves to feel safe both at sporting events and rock concert. Now, I don't know if this is legit. I don't know if this actually occurred or this band is using this to help themselves get known. If they are, it's kind of genius when you're grabbing onto something that's gone so viral right now and you're saying, oh, this person did the same thing at our concert. It's going to be interesting to find out if that is true or not. Or maybe it's just like this move being done to I guess cause like media attention to the band. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. News Noise Inc. says looks like Pocahontas for sure. You must be talking about Elizabeth Warren. There's also been some like altered images that make it look like it's Elizabeth Warren that did this. I'm just checking to see. Okay, and this is the girl that they were saying it was. So she made a post, okay, everyone, I'm not the crazy Philly mom, but I sure would love to be as thin as she is and move as fast. And I'm a Red Sox fan. so but everyone was saying that it's this girl. Can you imagine being the girl and everyone's attacking you online and you weren't even there, which is interesting anyways, just to see how the frenzy of the people go, so this is the lady that they're saying it was. But yeah, so she's a Pat Sox fan. So they were all saying this was her. Poor Cheryl Richardson Wagner. But that's the thing too. You're seeing this like spread like crazy. How many social media influencers were going full tilt attacking the Cheryl girl and it wasn't even true? I find so often like people don't verify their information. I try to as much as possible to verify kind of what I post. Okay. The next story, which is quite glim, there was a terrorist attack in Jerusalem. So this was posted a few hours ago. So I assume it was within the last 24 hours. So I'll just do a quick synopsis of what occurred. So 2 terrorists who were Palestinian Arabs, is that how you say it? Open automatic weapon on a bus full of people. I think so far there's been 6 civilian confirmed murdered. So they went in the bus, shoot a bunch of people, shot at some of the civilians outside. And I say it's a terrorist attack. This wasn't targeting a government employee. It was targeting civilians. And you're seeing that over and over again. And some people will say, well, what about all the people killed in Gaza, in the Palestinian? There's a difference between targeting civilians and targeting terrorists. And this is clearly targeting civilians. And not only that, Hamas went and bragged about it and said, we need to have way more of that. So not calling this out for how awful it is, but there's a hero that came out of it. There's several, but I saw this video and I couldn't believe the action of this man. And that's why I titled the show, if you look at the thumbnail, it says "In the Man with Balls of Steel." I think that's what I called it. And this is this guy right here. So I'm going to play this video for you guys. I'm not going to play the full thing. It's quite graphic and quite awful, but I'm just going to play this part. The part where this cab driver, instead of fleeing the scene like most people would have done, he was concerned for his passenger and went and got her out of the vehicle and made sure she was safe as gunfire is coming at him. I'm just trying to make, there you go. See? And he's helping her get out. Instead of running away. You can see the bullets hit there. There was other videos of it too, where you can kind of see the whole. I won't show the entire thing, but you can see kind of everyone running away. Oh, it's awful. I'm just going to see if I can put it on the screen here. You see her first get out and trying to get her out of the one side of the car. She can't come out because she's not very mobile, I think. So how this ended, I won't play that. There's other shots where you see a lot more, but how this ended was there was a civilian who had gotten a gun license and a gun and taken some courses, and he had his gun with him, and he, along with a security guard, former IDF, shot down the terrorist. So it could have been so much worse if both of them were not there, because they were just shooting automatic weapons at everyone. But I'm going to see if I have. Yeah, this is a news article. Hamas hails Jerusalem terror attack as a heroic operation. Can you imagine? I got a fruit fly again. I don't know why they're always in this room every time I do my show. Let's see what else I've got here. There's more videos out there. Watch at your own risk. I try to not put anything that's too gory on the show, just in case people have kids nearby. But this is the guy. So heroic Haredi Yeshiva student helps stop Jerusalem terror massacre. Newly licensed gun owner, a young Haredi Yeshiva student, newly licensed to carry, drew his weapon and alongside a security officer fired back and killed the Muslim attackers. Police and witnesses say his decisive action prevented a far greater slaughter. He saved many lives today, a responding officer said. I think in Israel after October 7th, they did open up to be able to get a gun license, if I'm not mistaken. Gosh, I got it. Good. That fly is really annoying. Here. I'm just going to see. Joe commented something. I just can't see it because it's cut by the screen. Joe says, this world is explicit word, explicit word, which I will not repeat. An old man in his 70s killed an 80-year-old woman in his block apartment in Quebec City because she was singing and playing the guitar at night. The guy was trying to sleep because he was working. He said he's gone sleep now and added, should have done that a long time ago. That's insane. News Noise says Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, is it Houthis? The 3 H's of hate. I agree. But thank God that they were there to begin with to be able to stop that. Let's see what else I got here. The Prime Minister of Israel contacted. Okay, I won't play this video. I'll just read out first, and then I'll do the next post. So this morning, Jerusalem was struck by terror at a busy bus stop near Ramat Junction. 2 Palestinian Arabs terrorists opened fire with automatic weapons on innocent people simply waiting to start their day. 6 were murdered in cold blood, and many more injured in the chaos. An off-duty IDF soldier and an ultra-Orthodox civilian heroically I have a hard time pronouncing words sometimes, sorry. Heroically confronted and neutralized the attackers, preventing an even greater massacre. Their courage saved lives, but the devastation is immeasurable. The victims were not combatants. They were ordinary men, women, and children targeted for one reason alone, because they are Jews living in their homeland. There is no justification. This is not resistance. It is terrorism, fueled by hate and aimed at nothing less than the destruction of Israel and the murder of Jews. And yet, despite relentless attacks, Israelis continue to show resilience, humanity, and courage that few other nations are ever expected to demonstrate. It shows like that video show. I won't play it, but it shows them the 2 the civilian and the off-duty IDF soldier killing the terrorists that were attacking. I killed one fruit fly. Now there's another. The U.S. ambassador for Israel, Mike Huckabee, made a post horrified by this morning's deadly terror attack in Jerusalem. Janet and I offer our heartfelt condolences to grieving families and pray for the speedy recovery of the injured. We stand with Israel against this savagery. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's the dad. There was the lady who was like the press secretary before Kayleigh McEnany. That's her dad. She had done a really nice speech a while back about Israel and her dad being in Israel too. I just don't have a copy of it, and this is I'm not going to play it. It's not in English, but the Israeli president Herzog spoke with the taxi driver who helped an elderly woman escape the scene of the attack this morning in Jerusalem. He said, "You're truly an example and model of civil bravery," said the president. "I don't see it as an act of bravery. I had to rescue her from the scene," replied the driver. So just so you understand, it's a little bit different structure in Israel too. I didn't know this. I'm like, Israeli president. I'm like, I thought Bibi, or I can't remember how to say his full name. I'm going to call him Bibi. I thought he was the president, but no, he's the prime minister of Israel. So Israel also has a president, but it's just ceremonial. They don't do any like decision making. They don't rule a country. But I didn't even know who this person was until today. So it just goes to show every government, every country have different structures. And I didn't know about that. But I'm like, wait a minute, did Bibi get booted out? What's with these fruit flies? They're everywhere. Now we're going to move on. I have a couple more things and then we'll end the show, hopefully before the hour is up. President Trump just announced that he's going to protect prayer in school. I do have a video for this. I would love to see that happening in Canada. Here. And then I have like a little comical thing about President Trump. So there's a guy that does like, what's it called? Impressions. And he's super good. But I'll play that after.
For most of our country's history, the Bible was found in every classroom in the nation. Yet in many schools today, students are instead indoctrinated with anti-religious propaganda, and some are even punished for their religious beliefs, and very, very strongly punished. It's ridiculous. Joining us this morning is Hannah Allen from Honey Grove, Texas. A few years ago, Hannah organized a group of her classmates to pray for an injured peer. The school principal declared that Hannah's generous act of love was prohibited from taking place in front of the other students. To support students like Hannah, I'm pleased to announce this morning that the Department of Education will soon issue new guidance protecting the right to prayer in our public schools, and it's total protection. For most.
That's really good. I didn't know about the story. I hadn't watched that video yet. David says, I grew up in the 70s, graduated in 82. We grew up with the Lord's Prayer in O Canada at the start of every day, and God Save the Queen at the end of the day. I think in Texas, they just made a policy. I think it's in Texas where they made a policy where they're going to be putting in the classroom the 10 Commandments. And I think the Lord Prayer might have been something else to do with it. I remember seeing something a little while ago, but I don't quite remember what. Maybe you guys can confirm in the comments. Oh, another thing. So Trump went to the US Open. So it's just interesting to see the different narratives being pushed. So one narrative is that Trump was there and he was being booed at, and then the other narrative that Trump was there and he was being cheered. So it just seems to be like, depending who it was that was filming and what was closest to them. So there's two different perspectives of the exact same event. So I'm going to show you this. It's going to be interesting to see which one the media is going to push. I know which one it's going to be, but let's wait and see. You'll have heard it here first. Okay, so this is the first one. Let's play that. There's several of them. So that's perspective 1. Let's see perspective number 2. Probably from a different part of the stadium. Mind you, I think this was in New York. Interesting, eh? Let's see which video the media will grab onto. Okay, come on. There's like 5 floating around me. I wonder, the enemy is not wanting me to go on with the show. Where's the funny one? I'm pretty sure I had saved it. Did I lose it here? Oh, here it is. This guy does impressions of Trump, and it's one about the Karen lady. Let's see if I can make it bigger and share
A
it.
kid on your birthday. There was an old lady who lived in a shoe, and if you're a kid on your birthday, she'll steal a home run ball from you. And while many may believe this behavior is silly, it's actually quite common if you're a sports fan from Philly. The nasty old Karen wanted the baseball so bad, she ran through the whole stadium and berated the dad. And the dad gave up the ball to the dismay of his boy. The Karen did what Karens do. She stole all the joy. Both teams and their fans saw her wreck all the fun. Everyone who witnessed it knew what must be done. The Marlins sent a gift bag, and a short while later, the boy and his family met Harrison Bader. The nasty old Karen was booed out of the game, and now the whole world will soon know her name. From her hair to her glasses to her life that is so barren, the moral of the story is don't be a Karen.
It's actually quite clever. Okay, next and last story, and then I'll end it there. Today, it's out of the UK. A man has been arrested in the UK for calling someone a Muppet. The police are out of control. I wish this was a joke. It isn't. Absolute insanity. That's what the post says. And then there's a video, so I will play it for you guys too. Then I'll see if I can catch this fly here.
All this time, yeah, you just. So I've been sat around there all this time, Yet you decide to come and talk to me when I'm leaving.
Okay. Well, if you're going back to me, you're under arrest for Section 4A public order offence.
Just give us your camera.
Hang on a minute.
I'll explain the circumstances.
Listen, all I'm going to say is, do you guys really want to do this?
Yes, we do.
Right, you're arresting me for what offence?
Section 4A public order.
Public order for what? Second pictures?
Hang on
a minute. Are you body cam on? Are you recording? Right, can you identify yourself, please? All of you.
PC 692.
PC 1823.
870.
Sergeant.
1823.
1823.
Yeah. Put your hands to your back then.
Is this really necessary?
At the minute, we don't know if you're carrying anything that might harm us. We don't know anything about you.
Oh, that's a fair.
Can't see your face, so just out of precaution.
All right, let me just, let me just speak. That's a fair comment. I'll let you have that.
Right, yeah,
but I don't have anything what's going to harm you.
Everybody says that to us, don't they, mate?
And I'm actually just going to go in lobby because it's a beautiful lobby. I'm going to get some, because I ain't got any stills. I'm
My
going to
colleague's
take some
going to tell you
stills
the circumstances for why you've been arrested.
Am I being arrested or being detained?
Arrested, I would say the caution.
Arrested?
Yeah.
Well, what have I done wrong?
Did you wear the caution?
Public order.
Did you wear the caution again, or are you?
Well, what have I done? Tell me what I've done.
There's been a member of the public who you've apparently been shouting at calling him a Muppet.
Right, a Muppet, yeah, and?
You caused him alarm and distress.
She's very upset.
Right, well, I'm gonna be straight with you guys now.
Don't forget you're under caution.
I can feel you shaking. I can feel you shaking. Calm down. Calm down. You are shaking.
Right, you've got your
I'm going to tell you now. Calling somebody a Muppet.
So someone was arrested for calling someone a Muppet. The UK has fallen. That's insane. It's just a matter of time before that comes here. It seems like the UK is like a few years ahead of us, and then we just catch up and become just as insane as they are. But anyways, that happened. I don't know if he was like charged, but he was arrested for it. So it's going to be interesting to see. But anyways, that is it for your Rooted, Salty, and Light with Nadine, myself, Nadine Ness. This episode is over. If you don't already subscribe or share, do all of the things, like and subscribe. I need to have something written down that I'm supposed to tell you guys at the end. I just realized yesterday I didn't do that. But yeah, like and subscribe and share, do all of the things. I will be back next Monday. I will probably be posting little short clips of this episode and Friday's episode. And some of you are talking about like the castle law and how it is in Canada. I did cover that topic on Friday. So if you haven't seen it, just go back and look at the timeline. It should show up. And yeah, I will be back Monday, probably around the same time, probably around 1 o'clock. Eventually I'll get it so that it's always at the exact same time, but I need to figure out how to work this with going to pick up my kids and stuff. But right now I have to leave because I have to pick up my son from daycare and my other son from school. And I will see you guys next Monday. See ya.